good morning, everyone. Sitting here playing around with my Mackenzie and Marr guitar. This is such a great guitar. You notice I got a capo on there because that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about using this little device. Now, I'm not going to go into any grand theory, so don't worry, but I'm going to show you a practical, I think it's practical, at least that's the way I learned, for just working with some major chords and finding them on the fretboard. Okay, so it's not going to be conclusive, but it'll be enough that you can work with it and get started with it. And for the most part, play just about anything. If you got a capo, there's no telling what you could do. So we're gonna work on that. But you know what? Just I have to throw out one little fact about this little guitar. I was looking at it, and you'll notice that when you look at the inlay on it, isn't that real pretty looking inlay? It's very beautiful, abalone. And you'll notice that on the 7th fret and on the 12th fret, there's 2 dots. Do you ever notice that? I see it more, I mean, they have it on acoustics, but not all of them. It's more commonly seen on all the electrics, I think. But anyways, there's usually 2 dots at the 7 and 2 dots at the 12. Did you ever wonder why? Well, the way I understand it, it's at the 12th fret because that's where you'll find your octave from the open string. So you got open E, you press down the 12th fret and you have the octave. Okay, that's pretty simple. And it's at the 7th fret because there's also an octave involved there too, but it's not on the same string. You play the low E, and on the next string over, if you play the 7th fret, it's the octave higher, okay? So if you play the A string, the next string over on the 7th fret is an octave higher, okay? If you play the D, next string over. If you play the G, now here's where it gets thrown off because it's that old B thing. It's off. Because for the most part, well, we're not going to go into it. But what you have to do with the B string is you just have to move up. Okay, so you just move up 1 fret. But it's an octave higher. And then the B string to the E string, there's the B, there's the 7th fret, and it's an octave higher. So there you go. That's why on the 7th fret, they have usually 2 markers instead of 1, but look at your guitar and see if you have it. Not everybody will have it. I was just, as I was walking down the hallway looking at mine, and some of mine don't have fret markers on them at all. So, and for a reason, sometimes when builders are making them, a lot of people just don't like it. They like this to be nice and clean and have the markers on the side. So anyways, but my markers are double markered again on the 12th fret down here, see? But not on the 7th. So just a little fact about your guitar. So let's get on with the capoing. Okay, so there's 3 things that I want you to remember before we get started. In fact, if you have a piece of paper, write those 3 things down because it's those 3 things that are going to help you in being able to use this and find out what key you're in. You need that information, okay? So here's the 3 things. 1 is the number 3. So write that down, number 3. You say, what in the world? The next thing would be E to F, okay? And the next one will be B to C, okay? All right, so you got that written down, or it's written down in your brain. You got it imprinted in your brain, B to C, E to F, number 3. Number 3, E to F, B to C. Get it down there, okay, because you're going to need it. All right. So here we are with a capo. And for the most part, what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you two different chord progressions that if you know them, those two chord progressions in the key, well, actually it's one chord progression really, but it's in the key of C and the key of G, okay? So if you know this chord progression, it's the 1, 4, 5, and you know the C and the G, you can pretty much find any key here on the fingerboard and play a little song. I can get that out. Play a song, okay? So here we go. So here we have G, and what goes with G, C, and D, right? And if you want a minor, you put an E minor. So G, C, D, and E minor, okay? And G is the 1, the C is the 4, and the D is the 5, the 1, 4, 5. And then the 6 is the E minor. Okay, so we're not going to get into that. Just want you to remember that G, C, D, and E minor go together, okay? So if you play G, C, D, and E on this keyboard all the way up, you're going to be changing keys. And, you know, you can play just about anything. Okay, now the next one you got to remember is the C. What goes with C? Okay, so it's C, F, G, and the minor is A minor, okay? So there we have it, C, F, G, and A minor. That's the 1, 4, 5. C is the 1, F is the 4, G is the 5, and you got an A minor as your 6 or your minor chord. Okay, all right, so now you know that. Okay, let's start with the G. Now, what did I say G was? G, C, and D, right? Those are the ones that go with that, with an E minor. So if I am sitting here and I'm playing this G chord here, and I want to go to A, how do I know where it is? Where can I place my capo, play that shape, and get the chord A? Okay, so we know that A is one step away from G, right? Because you got 7 notes, and so it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts over again when you're playing, okay? So from G to A is one full step, which is 2 frets, okay? So if this is G right here, if you go up 2 frets, that's A, okay? And if you go up 2 more frets, that's B. And if you go up, now remember the B to C, 1 fret, that's C, okay? So B to C is 1 fret, everything else is 2 frets, except for E to F. So E to F is one fret, F to G is 2 frets, G to A, 2 frets, A to B, 2 frets, B to C, 1 fret, E to F, B to C, okay? You got to remember that. All right. So let's say the person, we're playing along and you're playing in G and somebody says, oh man, I just can't sing that low. I just need to go up a little bit higher than that. I need to go up to B, okay? Well, they probably wouldn't go that far. They probably could move up to A, but let's just say we're going to move up to B. Okay, so you're on G, and so you go up 2 frets to get to A, go up 2 frets, and there it is, the B. So you're going to make your G chord right there. So what you have to do is right where the B is, count back 3 frets and put your capo. There's your 3. Okay, so my capo is going to go on the 4th fret. And we're playing in B. And it's a G shape that we're using. And what goes with G? The C shape, the D shape, and the E minor. Okay, so this is the key of G. You're just using those same shapes because you moved them up on the fingerboard. Does that make sense? Okay, let's say they say, okay, we're going to be playing in A. Okay, let's take the capo off. We know that G is here, and A is one step up, so we got to go up 2 frets. And then we're going to count back from where that A is on that low E. 1, 2, 3, and that's where I'm going to put, there's that 3 again. Put my capo there. Okay, so now I'm playing an A. And what chord shapes are we going to use? Well, we were playing a G. We moved up 1 step. We're going to stay playing with those chord shapes. We just moved up 1 step. Or 1 note. Or, yeah. So now we're playing an A. And what are the chords for G? What goes with G? G for the 1, 4, 5. C. D. And A minor. There's a D again. Okay? All right, so let's say, let's see here. Let's say we're playing in G, and somebody says, I want to go to C. Well, you probably would just play C up here. But if you want to play an octave higher because you want to be off from another person playing using C, F, and G up here, then you can take the G formations, G, and move up the fingerboard to get to C, right? So you got G, A, B, and B to C is not 2 frets, but 1. That's why you had to remember that. Count back 3. You put that on the 5th fret. And now you're going to play the G, C, and D. And you are actually playing in C. Okay? But you're using the G-shaped formations with the 1, 4, 5. What do I mean by 1, 4, 5? Here's the G. That's number 1. A, B, C. There's the 4. And then you got 5. 1, 4, 5. G, A, B, C, and then D. G, C, D. Does that make sense? Okay. So G, C, the 1, 4, 5, and the E minor go here, but you're in the key of C instead of playing up here. See, it sounds the same. It's just a little bit higher. You're in a higher register. And it'll ring out, and it really sounds great when you're playing against someone else to do this, to actually, move it up on your fingerboard with a capo. Okay, so let's do the C chords. Are you ready? All right, so now we're in C. Now this one's just a little bit different, but not that much different. So let's say we want to go to D. Okay, so we're going to move up 2 frets, right? There's 1 fret, 2 frets. There's your D note, because that was C. There's D, okay? And from that second string, from where your ring finger is, count back 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's where you're going to put your capo. Okay? On the 2nd fret. So now you're playing in D. C, F, and G shapes, with your minor being A minor. So you're playing in D here. There's G. And you'll hear it because this is the D chord here. Okay, except you're playing it right here. Okay, so you're still with a C now. And let's say you want to play E. Okay, so you got your C note here in the 2nd string. You're going to move up to D, which is at the 5th fret. And then to get to the E, you just move up 2 more frets on the 7th fret. Count back 3. 1, 2, 3. Your capo is going to go on the 4th fret. Okay, so now that becomes an E. And with the C shapes, what is it again? The C shapes are C, F, G with an A minor. Okay? So, but you're playing in the key E instead. Just using those shapes. Where this C shape is now playing an E, this F shape is now playing an A. There's your B, playing the G shape, back to the E. But you're using the C, F, and G shape. Does that make sense? So there's the, here it is down here. And you'll hear a dramatic sound with it, you know, the differences of playing those like that. The octave higher is very clear there. And it really sounds nice when you're playing with someone and they're playing down here and you put the capo on and play using those different chord shapes, but you're still in the key E. It sounds awesome. Okay, I hope I'm not confusing you, but okay, but let's just do one last one. And let's do the F, okay? So here's your C. And as you can see, there's the C. You're going to count up. So you go to C, D, E is at the 7th fret, but what E to F? There it is. Remember I said, don't forget B to C, E to F. Well, here we go, E to F. That means you only go up 1 fret instead. Count back 3, 1, 2, 3. Your capo's going to go on the 5th fret now. And there we are. We're in F now. Except you can play in the chord shapes of C, F, and G, with your minor being an A minor. Okay? So it's simple way to approach it without going in through a lot of theory and everything. But if you can learn that first, some other things will come to you later, okay? But I'm just showing you some major chords here that you can use. Let me get a little more tea here. Okay, great. And got this at the Cowboy Cafe in Sheridan, Wyoming. They have the best homemade pies at this place that I have ever had. Ever. It was awesome. Anyways, this is a fun cafe to go to. So if you're ever in Wyoming and Sheridan, check that place out. Anyways, I got off the subject. Okay. So that's the capo. That's my version of it. That's how I learned. Of course, I learned in church, and they always played in F, and they call they F and 3 flats, they'd say, or E flat. And so the E flat wasn't difficult as long as you know that, you know, you got G here and or excuse me, you got your E here, right? So you just have to go back a 1/2 step. There it is. So, I mean, I happen to know that when I put this capo on the 3rd fret and I play a C, that I'm in E flat. I mean, it just, after a while, you don't think about it. But if you're just starting out, you do have to think about it. And eventually it'll just come to you and it'll become natural and you won't think about it anymore. You'll automatically see it. You just got to practice it. Try it out. And you can always test it out too. Let's say you're here and you're playing the E and you say, oh, is that really, did I make a mistake? You know, just take it off and test it. Play your E. Does it sound the same? It does. Sounds the same. You're right. You got it right on. So that's another way to do it, is to test it out. All right. Well, we've already gone well over our time. But I want to remind you, the live's coming up on the 27th. And we'll have a good time on that date. It'll be 6 p.m. on a Tuesday night here on West Coast, California. And I have the announcement out. So if you want to hit the reminder, it'll come on and give you a reminder as you get close to it. I think it's like, I don't know if it's a 15-minute reminder. I'm not sure what it is. But anyways, it is there. And I hope you all have a great day or night wherever you are in this beautiful world of ours.